Even though, Shikshini has it's a funny name. It means the meeting of five mountains.
People call this home.
People stay because they are comfortable with their community, with their churches, their families.
And in this world today, it's hard to find a community where your children can be children.
In 2011, the town of Shikshini was affected by Tropical Storm Lee.
The hardest part for me is seeing the place that I grew up be demolished.
We received a massive amount of rain, and
we were prepared for some water possibly.
After a disaster, FEMA's Long-Term Community Recovery helps communities like Shikshini, Pennsylvania, design a plan for their future recovery. Developing the plan for Shikshini was a 5-step process, not to just rebuild, but to rebuild better. And FEMA's only role is to guide the process.
They're so convenient. There were a drugstore, a bank, we had bowling alleys, car dealerships. There was just everything. And on the weekend, you'd go over town, people standing on the corners. It was just unbelievable.
You don't have to travel 10 miles to go shopping. It's here. If the stores all come back the way they were.
We had a lot of good memories. Yeah. This was a booming town, let me tell you.
From there, we took their values, those values that we heard in their stories that made Shikshini so special and unique, and we're going to use them as the basis for the rest of the planning process. This process is all about bringing the entire community together.
Because that is a very key part of the process. It's just in general, where as a community do you want to go? It's about consensus building. It's about bringing the community together, all parts of the community.
This community needs this long-term recovery plan, and they need it because it gives direction. It teaches as it goes on.
Our boundaries are the ones that we impose upon ourselves. This is a vision. The most important step is to listen. You gotta listen to what your people are saying.
Recreational center for families, a camping area and boat launch, what have you.
this town needs to focus more on its business and bringing people in. Every business we have open brings more people to the town, which feeds the other businesses. I have been in business in Shikshini for 10 years. This is the first time we've had water in 10 years. We have a lot invested here.
You want to bring more people to downtown. That's a good thing, right?
Yes. You have to have direction. You have to have a foundation and framework for everybody. And if you don't have that plan or you don't have that foundation down in it, then everybody's trying to grab the wheel to steer the boat.
The entire block is going to be gone. So with this entire block gone, that opens up an area where there won't be a house.
After the vision meeting, people broke up into subject areas. We had 6 different working groups that had been meeting on a weekly basis. We had a communications working group, a business development working group, a housing and community facilities working group, a recreation and tourism working group, a regional hub working group, and a youth working group.
It's important that the youth have a voice in what happens here for our community over the next 50 to 100 years. And at that point, I think that's when we really started to push to get the youth involved.
Let me give you these cards.
I think they realize that the youth is what is important, that's the new generation coming up, and they want to see what they're interested in. I feel like our voice is finally being heard and they're actually taking our ideas into account.
The people that are working on this long-term recovery are high school graduates of that school building that used to be the Shikshini High School. So you have people there that have a vested interest, not only because it's their past, but because they have children or grandchildren that it's going to be their future.
The financial impact has been really hard. Water here inside the restaurant was 55 inches, so quite a bit of damage was involved. I mean, the scary thing about this is we've lost, what, 24 homes in Shikshini. So the question really reopening was, is there going to be enough of a community to support the restaurant? But we hope that there is, and we hope that positive changes will take place.
You just don't want to see it lost. There is a lot still here. the mountains and the actual history, and I think there's hope. I really do.
Hopefully we will be able to rebuild with some new things of interest and different types of businesses. It's the one opportunity with being knocked down is you can pick yourself up and start from scratch again. I think it's going to take a long time, and people just need to realize that so they don't become overly discouraged.
In the meantime, we have a plan that we can follow in order to apply for grants, in order to go after maybe some developers. This community didn't die. We got hit hard, and we're coming back.